Yo, what's going on guys, it's Cynical, and today for you guys, I have a pretty damn wacky video for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at some texture hacks for Kingdom Hearts 1. Now I've actually done something similar to this in the past for Disney Castle in Kingdom Hearts 1, but the difference between today's video and that video is the fact that I actually unintentionally came across Disney Castle looking like this. More or less, I was actually just trying to access the areas of Disney Castle, and doing so kind of made the whole world look pretty damn out of place. In today's video, we're actually going to be using a code that allows us to switch the textures from worlds with other worlds, and the results are pretty damn crazy. So this right here is Monstro, and as you guys can see, it looks completely different. The textures have been all completely switched around with the textures from Hollow Bastion. So yes, this world as of right now, instead of using the normal world textures that it probably should, it's actually using the textures found within the world of Hollow Bastion. And the interesting thing is you can use the textures within this code from all of the different worlds, and the results are always different. But as you guys can see, the water within Monstro is really glitchy and looks kind of strange. It's using a texture found from Hollow Bastion rather than using a normal water texture. Rather than using the organic skin texture for the walls like the world should probably do, instead we've got some sort of a metal looking texture going on, and to be honest with you guys, I think it looks really cool. Obviously the ship is pretty damn glitched out, but for the most part, using the Hollow Bastion textures in Monstro is very interesting. Next up is Traverse Town, and once again we're using the textures from Hollow Bastion in Traverse Town, and as you guys can clearly see, the textures look pretty damn strange in this area, which obviously is the first district. You guys will notice that the buildings and the walls tend to use this particular purple detail texture, which I find very interesting. Using the Hollow Bastion textures kind of almost turns Traverse Town into Candyland. You guys might also notice that there are holes in the wall and holes in the ground in specific spots. I'm not really too sure what the reason is behind this, but it might be a case of the fact that, you know, the world is just missing the texture that would usually be there and is just not replaced. These holes aren't actually holes, so yeah, you can't walk through them or fall through them. Essentially, there is still a wall there, just without a texture. Next up is the Neverland Clock Tower while still using the Hollow Bastion textures, and this probably is one of the craziest areas I've seen within Kingdom Hearts 1 while using different textures. Now, obviously the Clock Tower area is pretty damn small, but it's surrounded by a lot of scenery that you can't actually physically walk on or go to because of the fact that you're flying for the most part. But all of this scenery of the city of London is really glitchy when using different textures. As you guys can clearly see, what looks to be the ground is actually replaced by, I think, star textures or something like that. All of the buildings are completely whack looking because of the fact that you're using all these different colorful textures from Hollow Bastion. And all around, this area just looks absolutely demented. Next up is Deep Jungle, but this time around we're using the textures from Halloween Town. And as you guys can clearly see, it looks pretty damn strange. This is actually the vines area of the Deep Jungle world. There's not really too much to see here other than the fact that it just looks really wacky, like something out of Alice in Wonderland. You guys might also notice that the sky is using like what looks to be cobblestone textures found within Halloween Town for some reason. And on top of that, the walls also look like they're using the texture from Oogie Boogie's treehouse themabob. This right here is the Hippo's Lagoon area of Deep Jungle, and I have to say this area in particular, while using the Halloween Town textures, actually looks really cool. It looks obviously very different and still quite wacky, but for the most part, it's probably the most normal looking area while using different textures I've seen so far. This is Aladdin's House, once again using the Halloween Town textures. I noticed in this area specifically there are quite a lot of holes for some reason, and also on top of that the palace is completely pink. It's just one plain pink texture. Next up is Hollow Bastion, and this time around we're using the Wonderland textures. Similar to Neverland, as you guys can see, Hollow Bastion gets pretty damn crazy, especially in the Rising Falls area when you switch up its textures. Things just look kinda out of control. The water itself is like black, and you can still use the bubble to go underneath the water. It just looks really weird. The sides of the falls themselves look really strange. They're using this kind of like dark green, what looks to be metal looking texture. What is interesting though is a few of the different rock platforms in this area are still using their original texture for some strange reason, but in terms of the other rocks, yeah, they're all using some sort of wacky looking one. The water in the pond right here is changed to like red, which is kind of creepy. I mean, with all this sort of dark colored textures going on in this really creepy looking pond with the red water, it kind of makes it look like a horror environment. And when looking towards the actual castle of Hollow Bastion, well, I think it sort of speaks for itself. But anyway guys, that is all for today. Hopefully you guys found today's video interesting. Switching up specific worlds with different world textures is quite an interesting thing. It makes the entire world itself look extremely different. And of course, with using different world textures on specific worlds, there is always a different result. So if you guys are interested to see more of this sort of thing, then I would be happy to follow this up with a part 2. And also, if you guys do want to see more of this, then let me know what textures should I use on what worlds. However guys, hopefully you're having a fantastic day, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.